happy first day of a new week, which is crazy to think about. Today I woke up in Tom's shelter in Massachusetts. Last night it absolutely downpoured. I was really happy to be in the shelter. I didn't hear any thunder, see any lightning, but we got hit with an absolute deluge, and the people that were in tents, I think, got pretty well swept away. Today, I'm having lots of feelings. One is pride in the fact that I've made it to Massachusetts. That seems insane. I'm exploring and learning a little bit more about New England every day being here. I am also wet. Everything is wet. It rained all day yesterday, rained all night, nothing dried. So everything's wet. So I'm just dealing with the joys of that. And the other thing that is most heavily on my mind at the moment, which seems so silly that it's so high up, but it is the fact that today is day 11 without a shower. This is the longest I've gone, and I feel pretty gross. I prefer to do a shower about once a week at least. So this is definitely an extreme sort of situation, but I at least know when my next one is. So not today, but tomorrow we will be hiking in to Dalton, Massachusetts, and I have a room already reserved at a hotel, and I am so looking forward to it. But this stint will make my longest stretch without a shower, and that is not something I am boasting about. That is something I am going whew about, because yeah, well, you can imagine. Let's see, good things today. I slept somewhere dry. I'm on my way to Trail Magic in Far Out. The first comment on my shelter was that a church is doing Trail Magic 2 miles from the shelter yesterday and today only. So I'm walking slow to let my kind of legs and ankles and feet and everything wake up, but unless it's wrong, I think I am hiking toward coffee and breakfast burritos and things like that. So that's pretty exciting. And let's see, a third good thing today. Oh, I'm in Massachusetts. That's an easy one. I'm so stoked about that. That's just incredible. I can't fathom how far I have walked, even though I have done it. I am working really hard while I am out here to process the trail as I go, because there is just so much to process, and I know I will continue processing when I get home, but it's a lot. I feel lucky to be out here, and I need to remind myself about that sometimes when everything on me is damp. Why am I walking in a stream? I'm not. This is the trail. What on earth? I'm not really sure what's going on here. Obviously, I'm supposed to follow those boards, but this looks like it should be underwater or something. I don't know. Regardless, I don't love boards like this because they look so slippery. Let me say that differently. They don't look slippery. They are so slippery, and they often move. And these have clearly seen better days. Wish me luck. The theme of the day is water and wet boards. You can see where other people have slipped. Baby steps. Yee. Okay. Weird lunch today, but here it is. We've got tuna, tomato paste, cheese, and these are French onions that I think were black pepper seasoned on a tortilla. Yum yum. This water is not exactly clear. It is filtered, so theoretically no giardia, but kind of looks like I'm drinking tea. Got ice cream in the freezer, sodas in the fridge. It's all an honor system. Pretty nice. And water across the street. On trail with a bunch of turkeys. That was definitely a turkey.
On trail was a mushroom, or I should say plant on trail was a mushroom, although they're not plants, they're fungi, but you know what I mean.
Close enough. We made friends with a ridge runner, and she made us baked mac and cheese, and that is broccoli, and then she also gave us homemade pickled beans. Make friends with ridge runners, my friends. Good morning. Today we woke up at Upper Goose Pond Shelter, where we had such a good stay. That is one of the shelters that has a live-in caretaker, and the caretaker's name is Mary. She is a ridge runner, actually in Connecticut, although we're in Massachusetts here now. And Mary we have run into 3 times now, and she knows us all by name. She was so sweet. It was so nice to chat with her, hear a little bit about her story. So huge thank you to Mary. This morning I woke up early and walked down and had some silent sit time down at the lake, which was really nice and peaceful. Saw a bunch of geese. Geese on Upper Goose Pond, which was fitting. Today, if you can hear it, it is already raining lightly. Basically all day has a 50 to 60% chance of rain, so I think we're just gonna get sporadic rain, which is disappointing. It was hard to put on, let's see, back to the AT. It was hard to put on wet socks and shoes for the, I've lost track, 3rd or 4th day in a row now, but today's motivation is that we are hiking toward Dalton, wherever we are, Massachusetts, where I have a hotel room, so I get finally a shower and can recover and dry out. So motivation is high to walk today. We have a couple, or at least one cool thing, I guess, coming up on my radar today during the hike, and other than that, I am just very ready to be out of wet socks. I will also say that because of all this rain, there are a couple people around who have the beginnings of trench foot, and that is a smell beyond anything I have smelled out here as a thru hiker yet. It is a special funk. Luckily, I am not having that problem yet, but it is definitely something that thru hikers run into and have to deal with. So just kind of keeping an eye on it and helping each other take care of themselves and make decisions, but definitely something to watch out for with all the rain. Trench foot.
why bother with a rain jacket sometimes? I'm either going to be drenched in sweat or drenched in rain. So. Welcome to Blueberry Hill. Make cookies, not war. Aw, it's a self-serve berry spot and supposedly cookies around back. Look at this beautiful farm. Walking tacos from Queen Diva, which was the first trail magic I ever got from her. So.
What?
Alright, could you do that side of this?
Moose is getting a temporary tattoo on his neck. Good morning. Oh, we are back on trail. Currently, actually. I mean, I'm walking through town, but we're on trail. We had a great stay in town. The Econo Lodge we stayed in was okay, but it did the trick, and that's all we needed. Rested very well. I have started to feel my knee again, so I did tape it, just kind of preemptively. I think it's gonna be fine. Today we are headed back, and I believe we've got some climbing to do first thing, but it looks like we've got at least a break from the rain today, which is nice. And then who knows after that, but soaking up the fact that we at least have sun, although that does mean it is hot. So anyway, just happy to be back out at trail, heading north. Back in the woods. One quick thing to say, because I'm really feeling it, is that as we go north, the resources in terms of grocery stores, hostels, towns even, things like that, start to get a little bit more spread out and far from trail. And so I think that longer food carries are gonna start becoming a little bit more common again. And we currently have a 5.5 day food carry, which is pretty big. So definitely feeling that as we climb toward Greylock.
On going down and around it instead of going back that way. That feels.
Add this to the list of trailside attractions. Mammoth cheese.
It is a drug.
Like 1,200 calories.
Tent City with the homies. Good morning. Today I am waking up from Mark Nopal first shelter. Me and the family had a good night's rest at the group campsite. We all tented and I hammocked together over there. And it was lovely. There was a lot of rolling thunder in the evening, which we were listening to and, you know, quickly put up rain flies and things like that. But then rain never hit and it looks like blue skies this morning. So nice to not have any rain. Today is going to be a 23-mile day with a couple cool things to see. Namely, first thing is the fact that I'm already climbing actually, make the climb up to Mount Greylock, which is the highest point in Massachusetts. So that's really cool. Forest types are definitely changing as we go further north. Granted, I'm in currently a higher elevation ecosystem up north, heading toward Greylock, but as we go north, these predominantly conifer forests are going to be a lot more common. Look at these ferns. The tower doesn't open for people to go up in it until 8:30 or 9. It's like a little after 7. So
All right, feet pick. Oh, do you want your regular
1600.
one? You're videoing.
yeah. We're at Trail Magic.
It was nice hearing y'all.
Over there, and a woman just came by and gave us veggies from a farm, so I'm eating a squash. Welcome to Vermont. This is the point at which the AT combines with the long trail for a little bit. So we will be together with those folks. Vermont is also nicknamed Vermud because it supposedly has a lot of mud, and so far, I think that's true. Perhaps the most Vermont thing I've seen yet. We have a water cache in maple syrup containers. I knew that Vermont was going to be muddy, but I definitely did not expect how overgrown the trail is. This is actually not a bad section. I'm afraid to record on some spots because it's so overgrown and so muddy. I don't want to have my phone out, but yeah, not the funnest. Good morning. Today we woke up at the shelter, which was a great stay last night. There were some folks I hadn't seen in a while that were there, which was really cool to catch up with them. Steady Eddie and Mimic in particular. And yeah, the shelter was actually full. And there was only a 30% chance of rain, but the skies were really dark and it was thundering when we got there. So I decided to stay in the shelter, just kind of for the ease of it. And also after long days like yesterday, I prefer to have a shelter spot if I can, because it's just less for me to have to do at the end of the day, basically. And the mosquitoes weren't being too terrible. So, but the shelter was full, but there was a picnic table in there. So after everyone was done with their dinner stuff, myself included, I set my stuff up on the table and I slept on the picnic table in the shelter. So we like made it into another spot. And that worked totally fine.
I was the first one up this morning anyway, so I was up and off of it before anyone would have been wanting to use the table. So that worked great. This whole week has a like 50 to 60% chance of rain for every day. I don't really know what that means for New England. So back home, that would be typical summer storms, but then you can almost count on a nice sunny period for most of the day. I don't know what that means up here though. So we're just kind of gonna see what happens. Right now it doesn't look too imminent, so no pack cover or anything like that yet this morning, but yeah, just kind of biding my time until potential rain, I guess. Today is going to be about 5 miles less than yesterday, which will be very nice. Today's about an 18-mile day to Kid Gore Shelter. And in a few miles here, we're actually meeting up with Cyclo's sibling, who is bringing us some trail magic and things like that. So that'll be really cool to meet them and hang out for a minute this morning. Have a little mid-morning break. Or, well, mid-morning for us, which is like 8 a.m. So, yeah. Aside from that, I think we got some nice views if the weather does hold out today. So, looking forward to that and taking my time with the mud of Vermont because it's amazing how immediately it got muddy here. It's like after the state line, it was like, oh yes, this state is known for mud. Here is the mud you have been awaiting. And it is so muddy. So the longer it goes without raining, the more these little mud pits have to dry out. And the easier they are to walk through, because if they're a little bit dry and they're just squishy, that's fine. It's the ones that are water filled that I try to go around. So we'll see how today goes. Might fall, who knows? Oh, here's an eft. All right, let's get hiking. Ooh, running.
Only ones at the shelter. Rain coming in tonight, but until then, look at this view. Oh, I can move it. Look, they like made the path for the hikers, but that's what has mud. Chowder and bread from Queen Diva.
So when it's something that we do when we're kind of almost sold out or like booked, and so it's like our way to say thank you to you guys.
Howdy from the Wicked Way Station hostel. We changed our plan slightly. We were planning on zeroing in a couple days, but we bumped it up ahead because there's supposed to be 2 to 3 inches of rain coming our way both tonight and tomorrow. So we kind of jumped our zero up a little bit earlier, and we're really happy to be in and settled. Today's hike was super simple, 8 miles downhill. We're seeing some really beautiful flowers now, including milkweeds. Today's highlights were that we saw moose scat, which is really exciting, that we're actually in their country again. We also saw some trail maintainers that were out there working on the trail, which was really cool. It's definitely been super muddy. Let's see. The only other really big thing from today is that we got to see Queen Diva for the last time. She is headed home to Indiana, and we're just feeling so grateful and thankful that we actually got to spend so much time with her. So she came and gave us some last trail magic and is headed home. So sad to say goodbye, but we're feeling very lucky that she came into our lives and supported us for as long as she did. So huge thank you to Queen Diva, all of the families that support her and her ministry partners. Huge thank you. All right, so we are at the hostel for now. We'll be here the next 2 nights, but headed to the store for a resupply first. I did hardly get any footage while I was hiking today because I was just in such a good conversation with Sparky that we just were powering through the day, and it was a lovely time. But we did also at one of the shelters find some left behind trash, so I packed that out today as well. So short but pretty eventful day.